Senator Durbin just delivered a devastating blow that should terrify every American who understands what's at stake with our immigration system. He's not just questioning Kristi Noem's qualifications to lead Homeland Security. He's exposing how Trump's mass deportation plan could collapse our entire agricultural economy, tear apart families who've been here for decades, and violate the Constitution itself.
Without fail, I can predict what's going to happen if President Trump pursues his approach. In community after community in Tennessee and in Illinois, we will discover undocumented people to our surprise. I didn't know that that man running the restaurant in southern Illinois from Mexico, the popular restaurant that people love to go to on Friday and Saturday nights, I didn't know he was undocumented. I can't believe they are going to deport him. We're going to hear stories like that over and over again of people that we sit next to at church, count on every day in our business dealings, see at the nursing homes, see at the daycare facilities, who will be subject to deportation. And not just those who are undocumented, but many times it appears to be that they're going to say to their children who were born in the United States and are legal citizens under the 14th Amendment to the Constitution, they have to leave as well. There is no basis for that to happen in law or in the Constitution, and yet I'm afraid that might be the future. We've already seen President Trump suspend refugee admissions program, which provides safe haven for those fleeing oppressive regimes around the world, including people from Afghanistan who literally risked their lives to help American soldiers survive in that wartime context. Some of those people are being threatened now with exclusion and deportation. Many refugee applicants wait decades to come to the United States lawfully, and all of them go through rigorous vetting. I'm talking about not months, but years of background checks before they can be considered as a refugee in this country. When they've waited so long under difficult circumstances, that seems fundamentally unfair. The Trump administration has already canceled flights for over 1,600 Afghan refugees scheduled to come here, including the families of active duty U.S. military personnel and those who are at risk because they fought for the U.S. On the side of the U.S. in Afghanistan. I have a particular situation in Chicago, which I'm honored to represent. We have a section of that city, one of my favorites, it's known as Ukrainian Village. It goes without saying that that means so many people from Ukraine have family and relatives in the Chicagoland area. Great restaurants and bakeries and churches, schools. It's a vibrant part of the city of Chicago. This is something most people don't know. When the governor of Texas decided to send thousands of undocumented people to the city of Chicago, it caused a lot of upheaval and change overnight, and many of those people had to be helped by units of government, the state of Illinois, the city of Chicago, and others. At the same time, those 50,000 people were being slowly integrated into the local economy, and most of them now don't live in any government-sponsored facility, but they have their own lives, and they're working at this point. At the same time that happened, another 50,000 came into Chicago from Ukraine. Because of the war in that country and the displacement of people in that war, we were offered an opportunity under the Biden administration for those Ukrainians to come to the United States under two conditions. First, they have a sponsoring family, and second, they have a job waiting for them. They won't be dependent on government programs for their survival. We did that, and almost no one noticed. These Ukrainians have become part of the community in the Chicago greater region and have been part of the economy. And they've been accepted and embraced. Now they face the real prospect of mass deportation as well. Where are we going to send them? Where are they going? This war in Ukraine makes it virtually impossible for them to return to what was their home. So I hope that as we reflect on mass deportation, we realize there are complicating factors in many of these circumstances. Stopping the flights to America will not make life any easier for those who applied for refugee status, and it sends a message in Afghanistan to our allies and troops around the world that we will not stand by and support and be friends with those who risk their lives for our soldiers. The President Trump has announced his plan to attempt to deny citizenship to children born in the United States if their parents are not citizens or lawful permanent residents. I don't know if I have a copy at my desk here. I'm supposed to have. Oh, here it is. I'd like to read to you, Mr. President, the 14th Amendment to the Constitution. And I hope everyone gets a chance to take a look at it themselves on this whole question of whether someone can be born in the United States and become a citizen. That has been the law in this country for over 140 years. And it really is a provision of the Constitution which is explicit. Here's what the 14th Amendment says, and I quote it directly. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. That is the first sentence of the 14th Amendment. So when President Trump says that he is opposed to birthright citizenship and challenges it, it was no wonder that the court issued an injunction or a temporary restraining order and stopped him immediately, saying this was a judge who was appointed by Ronald Reagan, that the Constitution is explicit. We've got to make sure that our policy when it comes to immigration is consistent with our Constitution and consistent with our values. And for many years in this country, over 100 now, that has been very clear that birthright citizenship is guaranteed by the Constitution. Kristi Noem, the governor of South Dakota, has said she wants to end birthright citizenship. She's described the southern border as a war zone and called unauthorized immigration a, quote, invasion, unquote. Governor Noem was the first governor to deploy National Guard to the southern border and sent them a total of 8 times during her tenure. I was disappointed she refused my request to meet, as I wanted to ask her a few questions about those decisions. As I said before, we need a secure border. That's why I worked for years to pass bipartisan legislation. But we also need to protect millions of non-citizens whom Americans rely on each and every day. Immigrants make up 40% of our agriculture workers and 40% of our home health aides. They are an outsized percentage of child care workforce and the farm workforce in America. If they are gone, the cost of daycare for families is going to go up because there'll be fewer workers. Immigrants have been a key part of the American success story. Our nation, I believe, needs them more than ever in a thoughtful way. Remember the 3 elements that I stand for, and I hope most people agree. 1, we need an orderly process at the border. Number 2, no dangerous person should ever be allowed knowingly into this country or allowed to stay if they are seeking permanent immigrant status. And number 3, we cannot accept every person in the world who wants to come to America tomorrow. It has to be a thoughtful, orderly process consistent with our values and consistent with our obligation to American families. They do not deserve those who are here to live in fear each day. Any real solution to immigration challenges must give them stability and a future that they can count on. Americans deserve a real fix to our broken immigration system that protects American workers and treats immigrants fairly. This pending nomination is a critical one. It may be the hottest topic in Washington today. I look forward to the opportunity to meet Governor Noem at some point to hear more about her intentions. And with that, Mr. President, I yield the floor.
What Senator Durbin did in this floor speech was more than oppose a nomination. He delivered a systematic breakdown of how mass deportation would devastate American communities while exposing the constitutional violations at the heart of Trump's immigration agenda. Durbin starts with agricultural reality that most Americans don't see. When Illinois dairy farmers tell him they can't find American workers willing to milk cows at 5 a.m., or orchard owners say local teenagers won't even work air-conditioned fruit stands, he's describing economic dependence that spans decades. 40% of agricultural workers are undocumented, meaning mass deportation would literally remove the hands that pick America's food. The grocery store produce section that families rely on exists because of workers Trump wants to remove. But Durbin goes deeper into sectors most people never consider. The daycare worker watching your child while you're at work, often undocumented. The caregiver helping your grandmother walk safely to breakfast at the nursing home, frequently undocumented. These aren't abstract policy discussions. They're the invisible workforce that makes American family life possible. Remove them through mass deportation, and childcare costs explode while elderly care collapses. The constitutional issue, Durbin raises, cuts to the core of American citizenship. The 14th Amendment's birthright citizenship clause is explicit. All persons born or naturalized in the United States are citizens. When Trump and Noem challenge this 40-year precedent, they're not proposing policy. They're attacking constitutional text that a Reagan-appointed judge already blocked as clearly unconstitutional. Durbin's personal immigration story. His mother keeping a $2.50 filing fee receipt for decades in case the government questioned her status illustrates the anxiety that drives immigrant families. Now imagine that anxiety multiplied across 11 million undocumented people, many living here for decades, contributing to Social Security, raising American citizen children. The Gang of Eight Bill Durbin references offered a practical solution: require undocumented workers to register, pay taxes, submit to background checks, and work legally while contributing to the system. Instead of mass deportation's economic chaos, this approach would have formalized existing economic relationships while ensuring security. What makes this nomination dangerous isn't just Noem's lack of qualifications, it's her embrace of describing immigration as an invasion and the border as a war zone. When Homeland Security leadership uses military language about civilian immigration, it signals enforcement that treats families like enemy combatants. Durbin's refusal to meet with Noem suggests someone unwilling to engage with substantive policy questions. The refugee program suspension, Durbin mentions, affects Afghan allies who risked their lives for American soldiers. Canceling their flights while they face Taliban retaliation sends a message to future allies worldwide. America abandons those who help us. This isn't immigration policy, it's national security sabotage. Mass deportation isn't just cruel, it's economically destructive and constitutionally reckless. Durbin's speech is a warning that Noem's confirmation would formalize this approach at the agency level, turning DHS into an instrument of economic disruption rather than genuine security.